Yes.
So if I stop assuming this and just stop witnessing or watching this process, then I give myself a
Yes. The only problem with that is that you can't do that. I mean, it sounds perfectly logical to the mind. If I stop associating myself with this stream by witnessing it, then in some way I have done something beneficial. I'm not sure what. The problem with that is you can't do that. The you who is trying to do that is an illusory you. So again, I really want to say this has nothing to do with witnessing or watching or observer consciousness or anything like this. I don't want this to turn into an afternoon where I'm just sitting here denigrating a variety of spiritual practices, because believe me, I think many spiritual practices are wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Not in terms of liberation, but in terms of helping the person to feel more comfortable. Absolutely wonderful. And some of them really bugger you up. And some of the best ones for buggering you up are ones which teach detachment. So, your life, my life is uncomfortable, I don't feel happy in my skin, I don't feel happy with myself, I have all this neurosis. Okay, the answer to that is that I stand 5 inches to my left and watch myself. I mean, that's kind of detachment, if you like. That's observer consciousness or witness consciousness. Forget it. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It must be obvious. It's kind of, I mean, if anything could be more dualistic than what's already happening, that's even more dualistic. Because to start with, there's me and there's that. So there's already duality. Me, my sense of separation, my sense of agonizing separation, and all of that out there. And now I've added to that another bit of duality, another me that's watching the first me. So now there's 2 of me plus all of that out there. So this has nothing to do with this. I mean, in a way, I feel I need to be careful in saying this, but in a way, it's actually the opposite, because when the sense of separation goes, it's like an absolutely full-scale plunge into this. It's not a separation from it. It's seeing this as it is for the first time. Not standing 5 inches to my left, watching this, watch that. Nothing to do with that. It's seeing that there never was any separate person who was experiencing this. And if for 40 years this didn't look very interesting, it's only because it felt like there was separation between this and that. This may look dull if viewed through the neurosis of a separate person. When that neurosis of separation disappears, then it's no longer dull. In fact, again, somebody as they were coming in, I can't remember who it was talking about Christianity and paradise, the kind of promise of enlightenment as bliss and so forth. And actually, of course, the joke is, I mean, the cosmic joke, the biggest cosmic joke of all is that when the sense of separation falls away, it's seen that this always was paradise. The Christian story is actually, it's a beautiful metaphor, because we feel we're thrown out of paradise and we spend our life trying to get back into paradise. And the great cosmic joke is that if the sense of separation falls away, we see that we were never thrown out of paradise in the first place. So if you want to know what paradise is like, paradise is this. It's whatever this consists of. Paradise is sitting here on a hot day in a room in Munich. Paradise is the Espan home. Paradise is feeding the cat. There isn't any other paradise. This is it. As I've said many times before, liberation can be summed up in 6 or 7 words. It's really simple. It's simply seeing that this is it and this is enough. It's not just seeing this is it. It's this is it and this is enough. There isn't anything more because there doesn't need to be anything more, because this is already as full as it could possibly be. It's completely empty, but it's also as full as it could possibly be. So the great cosmic joke, and the reason why quite often when liberation is seen there's a lot of laughter. And there are a lot of stories like that where liberation is suddenly seen and the individual where that seeing has happened just bursts out laughing. The reason for that laughter is because it's seen that the searching, the many, many years of searching up to that point, is such a joke, because you were always searching for what was always there. Again, you can sometimes hear the frustration in the voices of individuals who communicate about this in that way. Because this is another frustration. It's like, you can hear it. I don't know if it's really there, but I can hear it when I read Nisargadatta. It might be my projection, I don't know, but it's almost, I can almost hear him taking people by the shoulders and shaking them and saying, can't you see? Can't you see that this is already it? And of course, actually, no, we can't. As long as there's a separated person there, the answer to that is no, we can't. But for the individual where that is seen, it's like somebody sitting here like this and saying, excuse me, could you help me find my glass of water, please? It's like that.
That's a cup.
It's a glass.
It's a glass cup.
Maybe a cup in America, but in England it's a glass. You see you see how frustrated you would get if, for the next hour, I pleaded with you to tell me how I could find my glass of water. Whatever you said, but it's not. But in your hand, Richard. What, this? No, that's not it. No, it's not. No, it's not. Where is it? It's on the table. You just put it. No, it's. Do you get? I mean, it's not a very good metaphor, maybe, but do you get it? A little bit.
You're not thirsty enough.
Well, that's one of the stories.
That's right.
The reason you have
well.
not found enlightenment is because you're not thirsty enough for it. And then, of course, when we get fed up with that, we can go to a guru who gives us the opposite and tells us the reason you have not found enlightenment is because you are too thirsty for it. So we spend 20 years following a guru who tells us we must want enlightenment more than life itself. And then we can spend 20 years following a guru who tells us we must give up wanting enlightenment entirely. And the stories grow and grow and grow endlessly and become more and more colourful, because that's what the mind does. I mean, the mind is completely insane on this level. Not on every level. I mean, the mind's wonderful for designing tables and buildings and all sorts of things. The mind's absolutely wonderful. But when the mind gets hold of the desire to find meaning, it goes completely insane. That surely must be obvious. I can't remember who it was said, when we stop believing in God, we don't believe in nothing, we believe in everything. But surely 20 minutes on the internet reveals to us how absolutely insane the mind goes when it's looking for meaning. What's this all about? What's going on? Well, it's all being controlled by alien lizards. Or it's being watched over by a giant spaceship full of aliens who want to help us. or it's all being watched over by an alien spaceship full of aliens who want to destroy us. Or God wants you to kill the pagans for Christ. Or, endlessly. I mean, surely there can be no argument at all in this room that when it comes to asking that question, what is this about? What is the meaning of my life? What is the purpose of all this? The mind goes completely insane.
That's because we're not hungry enough.
Or because we're too hungry.
But if we were hungry enough, we would know damn well what it's about. It's about the next meal. And everything else is bullshit.
Well, I like to quote James Watson, who said, "You may think I'm a pretty sad fellow if I don't believe in meaning and purpose, but I'm looking forward to a good lunch."
Yes.
I mean, the mind is not a monkey, the mind is a whole tribe of monkeys. The last thing the mind wants is the simplicity of what this really is about. We've spent 40 years with the mind looking for meaning. Not just meaning and purpose, but the ultimate meaning and purpose.
Nothing less would be good enough for me.
Nothing less would be good enough. What could possibly be satisfying about seeing that the meaning and purpose of life is life itself? Which is the same as saying it has no meaning and purpose, which is the same as saying it needs
no
meaning and purpose. It seems to need a meaning and purpose because we feel we've been thrown out of paradise, so we feel incomplete. When it's realised that we were never thrown out of paradise, why would there be a need for meaning and purpose? Other than life itself. It's a terrible challenge to the mind. One of the